Welcome to No Human Left Behind, AI the podcast. In today's episode, a conversation on generative AI and content creation with artificial intelligence.
We've got a really interesting one today. Looks like you've sent us a ton of stuff on generative AI.
Yeah, lots to dig into.
You want to understand it, like really understand it, not just what it is, but where it's going and what it all means.
And that's what we're here for.
Buckle up. This deep dive, it's going to be a wild ride.
I'm excited to unpack all this with you. Generative AI, it's changing so fast, there's a lot to explore.
Okay, so first things first, let's define generative AI. It's AI, obviously, but what makes it different from the AI we see every day?
That's a great question. Most AI you see, like those spam filters or maybe those recommendations you get online, that's what's called discriminative AI. Basically, it analyzes stuff to predict or classify,
Right, so it's figuring things out, making decisions.
Exactly. But generative AI, it's all about creating new content.
Whoa. Okay, so instead of just sorting emails, it's like composing music.
Yeah. Or writing stories or even designing new products. The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
That's a huge leap. So is AI becoming, more like US? Since it can create now.
It's definitely blurring the lines. To really get it, we need to look at the different ways generative AI works, like different schools of thought within the field.
Okay, lay it on me. What are these different approaches?
So one of the big ones is called Generative Adversarial Networks, or GANs for short.
GANs.
Think of it as a competition, a creative tug of war. You have two networks. One's a generator, it makes the content, and then the other is the discriminator, and it judges how real that content seems.
So they're like battling it out.
Exactly. And that back and forth, it pushes them both to get better and better until the generator is making stuff that's super convincing.
So it's like the AI is arguing with itself to become more creative.
Yeah, kinda. And the results are wild. We're talking hyper-realistic images, music you'd swear a human wrote, even those deep fakes you've probably heard about.
Speaking of deep fakes, that's kind of scary, right? How do we prevent people from misusing this stuff?
Oh, that's a huge EE question, and we'll definitely get into the ethics of it all later. But for now, let's move on to another approach. It's called variational autoencoders, or VAEs.
VAEs. Okay, so how are they different from those GANs, the ones that are always fighting?
VAEs are more analytical, I'd say. They learn the underlying structure of the data, like figuring out the key features of a face.
Ah, so instead of battling, they're studying.
Yeah, and then they use that knowledge to generate new variations. Imagine a master chef who can tweak a recipe to create totally unique dishes each time.
So VAEs are about getting the essence of something and then riffing on it, creating variations.
You got it. They're great for design, like creating personalized clothes or shoes.
Wow, AI fashion designers. Okay, so we've got the competitive GANs and the analytical VAEs. Any other big players in this AI arena?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a third school. It's called autoregressive models. Think of these guys as master storytellers.
Storytellers. Okay, I'm listening.
They generate content piece by piece, like writing a sentence word by word or composing a melody note by note, always building on what came before.
Ah, so it's like building a narrative, making sure each piece flows naturally.
Exactly. And these models, they're getting so sophisticated. They can write whole paragraphs of text, compose long pieces of music, even generate lines of code. That's what powers a lot of those AI chatbots.
It's crazy how this stuff is everywhere now. So 3 different approaches, all pretty complex. But how does the AI actually learn to do all this?
That's where the magic of machine learning comes in. It all starts with data, TLNs of data. These generative models, they gobble up all that data to learn patterns and relationships. Kind of like training an artist by showing them thousands of paintings.
The more they see, the better they get. Makes sense. So can you give me some examples of how this is being used in the real world, beyond the theory?
Of course. Let's start with visuals. That's where GANs have really blown people's minds. They're used to make those photorealistic images you see in video games, special effects, even product design.
Wait, so that super lifelike video game character, that could have been designed by AI? That's both cool and a little freaky.
Right. And as we said before, there are the deep fakes too, which can be misused. But GANs can also be used for good, like helping artists be even more creative, or even making new art on their own.
So AI as an artist or as an artist's tool, that's fascinating. What about VAEs? How are they being used out in the world?
VAEs are awesome at creating variations, like I said. So they're being used to design personalized stuff. Think custom-made shoes or clothes, even furniture.
So you could walk into a store and get AI-designed shoes made just for you. That's wild.
Yeah. And what about those autoregressive models? I bet they're busy writing all kinds of
Oh,
stuff.
I was just thinking that.
You got it. They're the brains behind a lot of those chatbots that seem almost human, and they're translating languages with crazy accuracy, even composing music for movies and video games.
It's really amazing how widespread this is becoming. Okay, but this has all been about creative stuff. Can generative AI be used to solve other problems?
Oh, for sure. We're just getting started. Researchers are figuring out how to use it for all sorts of things, like speeding up drug discovery.
Really? So AI could help us find new cures faster.
It could. And it might also help us design brand new materials, create personalized education programs. The possibilities are huge.
This is blowing my mind. It's so exciting, but also a little scary,
I know what you mean. And that's why it's so important to think about the ethics of it all, the potential downsides.
Definitely. We've touched on some of the risks already, but I think we need to dive into that more deeply.
Agreed. We'll explore all that next time. It's a big conversation.
I can't wait. This deep dive has already given me so much to think about. It really feels like generative AI is going to change everything.
It really does. Welcome back. We're diving even deeper into this world of generative AI.
Back for more, you know it. This AI that can actually create things, it's mind-blowing.
It really is. And one of the most fascinating things, it's not just what it's making, the pictures, the music, it's what it's telling us about ourselves.
Wait, what? How so?
Well, think about it. For forever, we've been trying to understand human creativity. Where does it come from? How does it work?
Yeah, big mystery.
Right. And now we have these AI systems that are kind of mirroring that process. By studying how they learn, how they create, we might actually learn something about our own brains.
Whoa, so it's like AI is holding up a mirror to us. That's trippy.
It is. And it really makes you question what it means to be creative, right?
Totally. Okay, but we've talked a lot about the cool stuff. What about the risks? I mean, we already touched on deepfakes, but what else should we be worried about?
Yeah, there are definitely some concerns. One big one is jobs. I mean, as AI gets better at doing things humans do now, especially creative stuff, what happens to all those jobs?
It's kind of scary, right? We've already seen AI rating news articles, creating marketing campaigns. What if it starts writing screenplays, composing hit songs?
Exactly. And it's not just about the creative industries. It could affect all sorts of jobs. So we have to figure this out as a society, How do we make sure everyone benefits from this AI revolution, not just a few people?
Yeah, we need to find a way to make it work for everyone. That's a big challenge.
It is. And then there's the whole issue of misuse, right? I mean, this technology, it could be used to make fake news that's super convincing, spread propaganda, all sorts of bad stuff.
Ugh, yeah. Feels like we're always playing catch-up with tech, trying to put the rules in place after the damage is done.
That's true. So it's important to be proactive, Establish clear guidelines, make sure things are transparent, and talk about the ethical implications openly before things get out of hand. We need to find the right balance.
Balance. Innovation, ethics. It's a lot to juggle. But hey, let's switch gears for a sec. Talk about something more optimistic. What are you most excited about with all this?
Honestly, I'm really excited about personalized learning. Imagine every kid having an AI tutor, one that knows exactly how they learn best.
Whoa, yeah. No more cookie-cutter classrooms. Everyone gets the attention they need.
Exactly. AI could create custom lessons, practice problems, even give feedback in real time. It could totally revolutionize education.
Okay, that's a future I can get behind. What other fields could be transformed by generative AI?
Oh, so many. We already talked about drug discovery, right? But imagine AI helping design new materials, creating personalized music, even making realistic simulations for training. The potential is huge.
Endless possibilities. It's pretty mind-blowing. But before we get too carried away, we got to circle back to those ethical issues. How do we make sure generative AI is used for good?
That's the key question, right? We need to be very careful about bias, for starters. I mean, if the data used to train these AIs is biased, then the AI is going to be biased too.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need diverse data and algorithms that can detect and correct for bias. And transparency is key so we can see how these systems are making decisions.
It's not just about the tech itself, it's about the choices we make and how we use it.
You got it. It's our responsibility to make sure this technology benefits everyone.
Well said. It's encouraging to see that people are thinking about these things, trying to find solutions.
Yeah. Open dialogue is super important. Researchers, policymakers, the public, everyone needs to be involved in shaping the future of AI.
It's definitely a lot to unpack. We've talked about jobs, misuse, the potential benefits, those big ethical questions. It's a lot to take in.
It really is. And we're just scratching the surface. This generative AI, it's powerful stuff.
No doubt, it's going to shape the future in ways we can't even imagine yet.
Exactly.
But before we get to our final thoughts, let's take a little break, give our listeners a chance to process all this. We'll be back in a bit to wrap things up and look ahead to the future of generative AI. And we're back, ready to wrap up our generative AI deep dive.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? So much to explore.
Seriously, all the technical stuff, those crazy applications, the ethical dilemmas, it's a lot. But before we go, I gotta ask, what does all this mean for creativity? Like, the future of creativity?
The big question, right? I mean, we've seen AI make art, write stories, even compose music. So it makes you wonder, if a machine can do all that, what does it mean for human artists?
Yeah, it's been bugging me this whole time. Is AI really being creative, or is it just, like, copying what we humans have already done?
That's the debate, isn't it?
What?
Some people say true creativity needs consciousness.
Yeah.
Self-awareness, a sense of purpose, things AI doesn't have.
Yeah.
Yet, at least.
Right, but then AI is making stuff we've never seen before, stuff that's totally unexpected that feels kind of creative, don't you think?
It does. So maybe it depends on how you define creativity, right? If it's just making something new and original, then AI's got it covered. But if it's more about emotions, personal experiences, that human connection, well, then maybe AI still has a way to go.
That makes sense. It's like different levels of creativity, maybe?
Exactly. And remember, both AI and our understanding of the human mind, they're constantly evolving. What seems impossible today might be normal tomorrow.
True. So instead of thinking about it as AI versus human creativity, maybe it's more about how they can work together.
Yeah. Imagine artists using AI as a tool, to push their boundaries, explore new ideas, make things they couldn't have made on their own. That's pretty exciting, right?
Totally. Okay, but while we're pondering the philosophy of it all, there's also the practical stuff. What real-world applications are you most excited about in the near future?
Ooh, good question. Personalized learning, definitely. Think about it. Every student gets their own AI tutor, one that tailors lessons to their exact needs, their learning style.
That's a game changer, for sure. No more one-size-fits-all education. Everyone gets the support they need.
Right. And it's not just education. Generative AI could help us discover new drugs faster, design better materials, create personalized music and art, all kinds of amazing stuff.
It feels like we're on the edge of something QG. It's almost like AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's becoming a partner, a creative partner.
It really does feel that way. But of course, we can't forget about the ethical side of things. We have to use this power responsibly.
Absolutely. But it's good to see that people are talking about these issues, trying to find solutions.
It's essential. This technology, it's going to impact everyone, so everyone needs to be part of the conversation.
Well said. This has been an incredible deep dive, really eye-opening. We've explored so much, the tech, the possibilities, the risks, the big philosophical questions.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride. I hope our listeners have a better grasp on this generative AI now. It's a wild world.
It really is. And it's just the beginning. Who knows what amazing things will come next? I'm kind of nervous, but mostly excited to see what happens.
Me too. It's up to all of us to shape the future of AI, to make sure it's used for good.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of generative AI. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one creating the next mind-blowing AI application.
That's what we love to see. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of AI.
See you then.